What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate live, hopefully. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Now, we are joined by Quantum Eraser, Paul, Chocolate Saiyan, Arwin, Flatzoid, Jibby Jedi, and Righteous Force in G+. Very good to have you all.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon again.
Good morning, good afternoon.
So you actually turned that thing into a separate episode, did you?
You can hardly call me opening the show, immediately realising it's on the wrong channel, and then immediately closing the show as like a turnaround. It's just me ending that show professionally because it was on the wrong channel.
So it's on record the shortest show ever, officially.
No, when things get streamed on the second channel, they immediately go to unlisted. So for the very, very small handful of people that have watched it on the second channel, tends to be a more forgiving, understanding audience anyway. So I'm not too concerned.
Well, I'm going to loop it.
Well, that's very gracious of you to the advert. Thank you. Thank you very much, Arwin. So any signs of Earth curvature?
Not from the Bahamas.
Not from my Ibiza. Any signs of axial rotation?
Nope.
Nope.
No motion whatsoever.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Yeah.
No apparent distance.
Like hard evidence? No, I would have to say no.
No, is there any soft evidence?
There's not even soft evidence.
About tasty evidence? Any tasty evidence of the sun? No? About scientific evidence of gravity?
Yeah, just walk uphill.
Just walk up some
You have to know
stairs.
what it is.
Walk up some
Not from
stairs. Right?
Vilnius.
I'm still waiting for Simon and Dan to supply me with this hypothesis for gravity.
Simon Dan doesn't know what a hypothesis is. I challenged him back when his channel first came out. He had like 120 subscribers, and I just accidentally got onto his channel, and he was talking his nonsense because he's a freaking clown. And I challenged him. I said, give me a viable scientific hypothesis regarding anything. Right. But guess what he answered? You guys waiting?
You don't understand?
He called me names.
Any particular name?
I can't remember, man. It was a long time ago.
Can't be that long. He's not been around that long. He's only been around about a year, hasn't he?
Yeah, but I'm getting old, so 8 months, that's a long time, man.
About any evidence of gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon for all the fundamentalist religious zealots who believe the sky is a vacuum called outer space?
Possible.
You guys enjoy that GIF I made? Didn't you enjoy that?
Didn't see it. Was it posted in Master B, I take it?
I haven't seen a
Yes, it
demonstration.
Bring it up. Can you bring
Yes,
it up on screen?
I'll get it pulled up. Give me a second. I'll get it pulled up.
Cool. Any other evidence of gas pressure without a container? Feel free. Anybody at all?
Nah.
Not even the gas pressure gradient straw man being offered up today. Amazing.
Wouldn't the gradient become lighter gas the further
But
you
wouldn't that
go
also
up?
need a container?
How can the lighter gas be the container for the heavier gas? You see what I'm saying? Like they claim that the layer of gas acts like the container. No.
In some of their assertions, they would assert that the gas pressure from the air above forms a pressure on
The layer
column.
of the atmosphere above, yeah.
Yeah, a column below. Well, no, it's not. It's not I can never say this word correctly. Homogeneous, like plywood. You know, in harmony, layers. That's not how gas behaves. It's inhomogeneous, all mixed up.
Any evidence of
Any evidence of what? Sorry.
a sky container?
What, the necessary antecedent to have gas pressure? Well, we definitely have gas pressure. You'd require the necessary antecedent to have the gas pressure that we have. You could just walk outside and see that there's gas pressure, and we all know that the necessary antecedent to have gas pressure is a container. Unless you think otherwise. Do you believe that the necessary antecedent
Any
is
evidence
not?
of it?
My bad.
Yeah, gas pressure.
Just
We
explained.
live.
Just answered.
Any measurement, observation?
Yes, we're living.
Gas pressure?
Well, there's no worries.
Barometer.
Sorry,
We wouldn't
the
feel
necessary.
that way if
let me just
somebody could
explain.
demonstrate gas pressure without a container next to a vacuum.
Yeah,
being
let me just
maintained,
explain.
right?
The necessary antecedent for gas pressure is a container. The necessary antecedent for gas pressure is definitely not a sky vacuum. So, of the two assertions, given that you must have a container to have gas pressure, and you can't have gas pressure next to a vacuum, which scenario is more likely? That we, don't have gas pressure? What are you asserting?
I'm just asking if there's any evidence of a sky container.
I'll answer again.
Actually,
We
there
have
is blue
gas-
sky rocks that have fell from the sky that scientists have claimed are not meteorites.
Sorry, that doesn't answer his question. My answer did. He ignored it. Yes, we have gas pressure. And the necessary antecedent for gas pressure is a container. So you asked if there's any evidence, and I said, yeah.
But no observation, no measurement
What's your
of
problem?
a sky container.
I'm saying it slower. You're interrupting the conclusion. I don't get it. Is this a problem for you? Seems so. Why would this leave you so triggered? Why is this leaving you triggered? Why is it that I'm not being allowed to conclude the point that you've ignored twice, and you feel it's worthy of interruption rather than address? Why are you so triggered by this point? Yes, it's the necessary antecedent to have a container, the one you're asking about. That would be the gas pressure we do experience. That is our evidence. The gas pressure. Perhaps you'd like to address this, given that the antecedent for gas pressure is a container. Not a sky vacuum. Not outer space. That would be a defiance of that.
You can easily research blue sky rocks.
That's
affirming the
nice, but
consequence,
that doesn't
Nathan.
undo the container.
Yeah, who
Yeah,
We're
cares?
talking about
Yeah.
gas pressure and the necessary antecedent for gas pressure. So if you globetards could show us how to have pressure without a container, then you have something to talk about. But you can't demonstrate that here on Earth.
It has been demonstrated. You know
Oh,
perfectly
show it
well
to
it
us.
has been. Yeah,
There's a shoe.
Blue Marble Science showed it to you.
No, he didn't.
Oh my
Marble
God.
Science showed it to us, really.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, it was an open container. It was
Open container. What a dick. So he showed us gas pressure without a container, and you say yes. He showed us an open container. That would be a container, Brenda.
It was open. It was open.
Sorry, are you deaf? Are you going to do an RC Meisty and just repeat the same thing 6 times to get my blood pressure as high as possible? Yes, I've addressed that shite. I've pointed out that the word container was in the description of the thing he used. Open container? Yeah, container then.
It's a pipe dream.
It's an open container.
So definitely not a demonstration of gas pressure without a container? This would be a demonstration of gas pressure with a container.
You need to have a closed container to
Sorry, you're putting your fundy stipulation on open versus closed. Sorry, your fundy sky marble in a vacuum has no walls like this pipe analogy, so I don't really understand why the hell you're even bringing it up, as our definition is in regards to the necessary antecedent of containment. Now you're saying that it's open. Alright, so a tyre with a puncture is no longer a container. An open bottle is no longer a container. Are you insane? To have gas pressure, you need containment. It is as simple as that. He did not demonstrate that. That is incorrect. You are wrong, and have proven yourself to be wrong by saying open container. Well, that's a container, Brenda. So you're wrong.
So if you have a puncture in your tire...
So you're wrong, and I don't want to discuss anything beyond you saying, yes, that's correct. He did indeed have a container, unlike the assertion I made that he demonstrated gas pressure without one. He did have one, and I need to hear that before we discuss anything further, Brenda.
Can you have pressure...
Don't ask me anything. Say, I understand, Nathan. My incorrect idiocy that I asserted that he didn't have a container was wrong. I thought an open container isn't a container because I'm dumb. That's what I want to hear. I don't want more questions from a retard.
A tire with a puncture.
Excuse me, don't talk about a tire. Talk about your assertion that Hillbilly Blue Balls demonstrated gas pressure without a container by way of an open container.
Yeah, a tire with a puncture.
Not tire. He didn't use a tyre. Your assertion was in regards to Hillbilly Blue Balls. You're clearly deaf and need it asserting 16 times. What's the problem here? Have you got hearing deficiencies or comprehension deficiencies? That's a new question.
A tire.
Not a tyre. You keep saying a tyre, a tyre, a tyre, a tyre. No. You asserted quite specifically that Hillbilly Blue Balls demonstrated gas pressure without a container. He did not. Now, I'm going to give you one last chance to address your incorrect assertion that an open container would be a demonstration of gas pressure without a container. That would be wrong, and I want you to damn well address it, or you don't ask and you don't say another word beyond my assertion that Hillbilly Blue Balls, or whatever the hell you're going to start that assertion starts with. That's what you're going to now concede, because you are wrong.
No, those were your conditions.
Sorry, I have said the same thing for about the last year and a half. Gas pressure without a container. You've said, yes, that's been demonstrated by Hillbilly Blue Balls. It hasn't. You are wrong. Don't critique the criteria that's been laid down for well over a year. I don't care if you like the criteria. Your assertion in the here and now is wrong.
That's a lie. We have...
Get out. A lie, stupid dumb cow. You are wrong, and you're just so stupid and proud that you cannot admit when you're wrong. Let's make it clear for the audience, despite her failure to concede. Yeah? She is wrong. She cannot demonstrate gas pressure without a container. Her assertion that some other idiot moron who bought in gas pressure in a container and transferred it to another container with the tagline in his title that he demonstrated gas pressure without a container. Clearly this headline reader thinks he has because he said he has. He's also as stupid as you, Brenda. The fact that this moron's making you declare that he's demonstrated gas pressure without a container when he had a open container makes you fundamentally moronic, and your inability to concede just demonstrates how much zealotry there is in the globe community.
Hey, share my screen, Nathan.
She was just trying to tire everyone out. As usual.
She can just walk upstairs.
Yep.
All right. This is Hillbilly Blue Balls, the redneck retard, showing up trying to disprove gas pressure without a container by showing gas pressure in a container. Thanks.
Brilliant.
How many times has Brenda seen the guy bring gas pressure in a container, fill up his so-called test? I think that pipe went up, that PVC pipe that didn't have a lid on it, which is a container, by the way, went up maybe 35, 40 feet. And she's trying to say that is proof of what she's saying. Give it some time, Brenda. Everything will escape through that top hole. If that pipe was 3 feet wide instead of, say, an inch wide, it would escape much faster.
Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Not in the Marquesas.
No, but I did have a I did have a Tootsie Roll Pop and experience a center core of some kind.
What about the presupposition itself? Any evidence of the R value?
Nope.
Based on a circular light moving overhead, no, it's a grand assumption and presumption.
May I do the 8th question?
Yeah, you can feel free. I was just genning myself up and remembering all 3 disciplines. You go ahead.
Okay. Any single viable scientific hypothesis in the entire history of either astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
Useful.
Beautiful. Perfectly stated. Thank you.
I may have a special clip for that. I think I played it yesterday on my show.
Feel free.
I have to find it. Where is it? Oh dear, it's in the Master B chat, so that could be piled on.
Don't worry, we can come back to it, Armin. I think that concludes the housekeeping anyway.
But it kind of addressed the last housekeeping question. Where is that?
Is it a declaration that it's guesswork, fly by the seat of your pants sort of thing?
No, it was that one astrophysicist guy. What is he, Japanese or something?
Oh, yeah, Michio Kaku.
Yeah, that one, but I can't find it. If anybody else can find it, it's excellent.
It's fine. It's been well distributed amongst the community by now. And
Michio Kaku said that the flags on the moon are made of tinfoil.
They are when it's in Ball Busters, man.
Oh. There it is. Yeah, I got it. Okay, let me...
Michio Kaku contradicts himself all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, but not like this.
No, that's the one I'm talking. That's the best one, the one you're referencing. I can't wait for you to play it.
Sharing. Right. So here we go.
I've got to go.
We always say that you make observations, you have a theory, you go make more observations, and it's a very, very tedious process. Wrong. Nobody that I know of in my field uses the so-called scientific method. In our field, it's by the seat of your pants. It's leaps of logic. It's guesswork. It's guesswork. It's guesswork.
Is he on our side?
He is now.
Classic.
Well, he's what you call a hostile witness. So same as Neil deGrasse Tyson. So Neil deGrasse Tyson asserts that a ball leaves the football field because it's kicked and the earth rotates underneath. So the earth rotates underneath the football, it's travelling through the inertial frame, and the ball earth is a non-inertial spinning reference frame, giving you this deviation because earth rotates underneath helicopters and drones and planes. Doesn't it, everybody? What's that you say it doesn't? Oh, what a crock of crap that Neil deGrasse Tyson asserts, because he asserts that the earth rotates underneath the football when it leaves the spinning earth. So surely it's going to demonstrate that much, much greater effect when you've got things like drones that stay in the air for far longer than a football. Oh, he just is wrong, Neil deGrasse Tyson. He understands the rhetoric of a ball earth and what it needs to do. It needs to spin underneath things that leave it. But that doesn't happen, otherwise drones would be deviating and not landing where they took off from. You'd have to account for this effect of Earth rotating underneath your drone. Or your flight time would be vastly reduced if you were travelling west, say from Charlotte, North Carolina to LA. And typically a 4.5 hour flight time would become an hour and a half because Earth's rotated underneath. So none of these devastating effects that would be obvious and observable were the Earth to be rotating underneath, as asserted by hostile witness Neil deGrasse Tyson. Then you'd have these reduced flight times and helicopters and drones deviating, etc., etc., etc. So it's a useful hostile witness. No, he's not on our side, but he's definitely going to get cited a few more times, right?
Mhm.
You should play that clip every time or after you ask that last question.
Agreed.
So if a
I
tree
second that
falls, the Coriolis effect could move my house out of the way, in theory.
That's Coriolis fallacy, man.
Well,
Why don't we have Coriolis insurance?
We should.
That's
Because-
a different branch of science, the tree falling.
If the Coriolis effect was real on Earth, now Coriolis effect itself is real. It's easy to demonstrate. You have a roundabout, you have a drone, and then you push the upstick on the drone and it hovers above the roundabout. Now, because you observing the drone are rotating underneath, it seems to fly towards you and fly away from you, from your position. But in reality, it's you that's spinning and it that's hovering. So that's how you have Coriolis deviation. You just observe something that's underneath a rotating frame of reference. Well, Earth's rotating according to their rhetoric, and because of this rotation, if something leaves that frame of reference, like a ball in Neil deGrasse Tyson's example, Earth will rotate underneath it. Well, Earth would rotate underneath drones, helicopters, and aeroplanes if that was the case. So it's very useful to tie down what rotation of the Earth would actually cause according to their rhetoric based on what Neil deGrasse Tyson says. Now, for newbies, they might go, why is it useful to assert that? Doesn't that just leave you with a general idea that it might be rotating if you didn't follow along with what was just said? Well, yeah, that's an unfortunate byproduct and probably why they used Coriolis deviation with its confusing reference frame titles to prove that the Earth spins. Because when people come down here to the trenches of fighting for Earth rotation, they will justify why planes don't deviate, and helicopters don't deviate, and drones don't deviate. And Simon Dan will come along with a trampoline with some man bouncing and going, look, no deviation. But Neil deGrasse Tyson makes it plain. There should be deviation if Earth's rotating. You just don't observe it in anything beyond his football example that lasts about 2 seconds. But things that have a longer hang time would definitely demonstrate it, just like the drone on the roundabout demonstrates it. The longer the hang time, the more Coriolis effect, if there is any. You just don't see it on anything beyond a 2-second claim to be hang time with Coriolis from Neil deGrasse Tyson. But this
Shout
is
out
different.
to Brenda for having more balls than the cowards in the Discord chat tapping their keyboards.
Hey, Nathan, check this out.
What have you got? Let's have a look. What is it, Armin? Tell me about it.
Yeah, you're seeing the same thing I am. Or yeah, this product posted in Master B.
Coriolis style mass flow meter.
Controller for gas or liquid.
Very good. Yeah, you're giving Brenda props, but she's coming in with the most useless arguments and then just sticking her heels in rather than ever conceding that she's made an error in her claim. They need gas pressure without a container because they've got a fundamentalist religious belief in a sky vacuum because NASA says they're doing stuff in this Narnia-type land of sky vacuum that you can never go to. So they need there to be this violation of a law of nature. And whenever we say, no, you can't violate that law of nature, if you could, it wouldn't be a law. They say, oh, we can. Here's a moron showing gas pressure in a container. That proves you don't need a container. Well, that's very frustrating and moronic and not a rebuttal.
And intellectually dishonest.
What's the apples to apples comparison there? What's the container of Earth that has a hole in it?
Say that again.
What?
Like, if they're going to use a container for an example to describe the apples to apples thing that we have here, well, where's Earth's container?
OSE, how is it like that pipe? I.e., how has Earth got great big massive long walls with a hole at the top? Well, they haven't.
Precisely.
It's just directly next to or in the vacuum. It's a speck of dust in a massive vacuum with a tiny bit of gas pressure relative to the enormity of the never-ending, increasing, vast vacuum. So, but it's still claimed that this insignificant speck of dust that we're supposed to believe we're living on is maintaining gas pressure next to an infinitely expanding vacuum. It's utter horseshit. It defies natural law. But they'll still claim that they've got demonstrations of gas pressure without a container by way of some moron transferring gas from one container to another. It's like, what?
Yeah, that's apples to bowling balls, not apples to apples.
I had to take a phone call. I had to take a phone call. Did you guys like my GIF that was demonstrating this?
You've mentioned this GIF, but
Let me
we've
reshare it
yet to
again.
see it.
Okay, well, I had it up there. It was playing in the background. Here, I'll do it again. Bear with me.
Grr.
Just wait for it.
Yep. Okay.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Just watch.
It looks like Hillbilly Blue Ball's missing a blue ball.
There you go. And the gas will fill the space.
Isn't that what hydrogen is doing on the ball, going all the way to the moon, making the moon in Earth's atmosphere? Hydrogen has escaped all the way to the moon from Earth. Hence the headline, Earth is now in Earth's atmosphere.
Escaped, you say? Does that include the supposed gravity pull? So why is it still hanging around?
Hydrogen being lighter than gravity, yeah.
So how is that gas still hanging around at that huge distance? At that huge distance, when gravity supposedly is less strong.
Right.
Maybe it's a combined effort of Earth and Moon's gravity holding it to just those two celestial bodies.
Really?
Gravity
I think
doesn't
it's
do
rather
that.
combined effort from the people making up how this shit's supposed to work.
Yeah, exactly, are we? It doesn't matter where they push the Tor values to. It's an open system in a vacuum. So the gas would fill the space. It's just that simple. Disperse
And if
in
hydrogen
all
is filling the space, wouldn't the other gases be doing the same?
Yeah.
None of
It's
this
filling
crap
the
is
space.
happening.
But that means expanding into. So why does it stick up until that distance? Then
Doesn't.
That's not
It
filling
wouldn't. It won't. It violates natural law. It's the debunking of their sky vacuum religion.
The minute Hillbilly Blue Balls brings his gas in a container so that he could prove you can have gas without a container, you got to be laughing your head off.
Hello, Ninja. I don't think I've seen you before. How are you doing?
Oh, you unmuted me? Oh, thank you.
Good to have you.
I'm a round ball earther, I guess you would say. Right?
Why on earth would you be a ball earther? It's a crazy notion.
Well, it might be. Right. You were talking previously about how how is the gas on the Earth encapsulated, right? That's what I would suggest to you. Like if it was flat, how is the gas that we have that we do breathe encapsulated?
That's a very, very good question. My answer would be, I have absolutely no idea. However, I know it's definitely not encapsulated by a vacuum because the gas would want to disperse into it. So while I don't know what the sky is,
I also wouldn't suggest that it is encapsulated by a vacuum, right?
Yeah,
that would
it just
be
isn't.
that would be crazy talk.
Yeah, but that's what the
Like if it
heliocentric
was,
religion is, though,
if
isn't
it
it?
was
See, my point. I was just going to round out my point by saying, while I don't know what the sky is, I know there are people who assert that it's a vacuum called outer space, and it couldn't possibly encapsulate, to use your words, the gas pressure that we definitely do experience if it was a vacuum, because the gas would fill that space.
Right. So there would be no gas. There would be no air on the Earth.
That's correct, Mr. I believe in a globe, in a vacuum.
Or water.
Right.
Or water.
Right.
No air or water.
Yeah, with
Sure, it would
pressure
like
sufficiently decreasing,
wa-
everything starts to evaporate.
water would turn into like in a vacuum. Water would turn into a vapor and
You're not doing
leave
very well,
the Earth.
considering you said you are a globe believer. But yes, you are correct. The gas and water would instantly vaporize, and we wouldn't have either.
I don't think you answered my question. Like, what is actually keeping the gas and the water on a flat Earth?
That's a very good
Container.
question. That's a very good question. But by way of your phraseology, encapsulate, or whichever word you choose to use, it recognizes
I'm only using your own words, Nathan. So I'm sorry if I'm utilizing the wrong words.
No, not at all.
I'm just utilizing
I just didn't
your
get to the end of my explanation. So the fact that you are utilizing this word, encapsulate, means that you acknowledge the requirement for containment. And my explanation doesn't require me to define what the sky is when there's a whole religion that 90% of the Western world by default believe they are a part of, where their sky isn't encapsulating. In fact, it's a vast space for the gas to disperse into, and that ultimately means that that isn't what the sky is. It doesn't matter whether or not I know what it is. That really makes no difference. But I know what it isn't. Definitely not a sky vacuum. I appreciate it's the second time that I've tried to get to the end of this point, and you're keen to interrupt me. I appreciate that. But I would like to just conclude by saying, I know what the sky is not, and there is absolutely zero requirement by me, a humble man, to tell you what it is. But people do tell you what it is. Not me, I might add, because I could be wrong. But I know what it isn't. It's not a sky vacuum, and your belief in a globe is based in a sky vacuum, you appreciate.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I believe in gravity holding the gas.
Gravity doesn't do that. No, gravity does not do that. Maybe it's a misapprehension about what gravity is.
What's gravity? We just spoke of hydrogen escaped all the way to the moon, so gravity didn't seem to hold hydrogen in.
Yeah, but what kept it from going beyond into the vastness of space?
The moon and the Earth's gravity together, hand in hand.
There is an interaction. There is an interaction between the gravity of the moon as well. There is also. It seems like now we know that there is a bunch of atmosphere going outside of the realms of the moon area now.
Keeps appealing to gravity. What is gravity?
Well, gravity is the interaction between particles that give particles weight. The particles interaction between themselves in en masse make a large amount of weight. That's how gravity works.
No, that's wrong.
apparently. It's a distortion in space time.
Well, that's something very. It's distortion in space time. Sorry, no worries. We're getting somewhere. So we'll just no worries. We'll just ignore the first bunch of word
But
salad.
I'd rather not talk about what I believe in
Why not?
Space-time. I'd rather go back to how we have water, air, those sorts of things on a flat Earth. Like, how does that? Like, how does unless, because you have said yourself before, Nathan, that it must be encapsulated to keep it on Earth. So your own words said before that this must be within a glass dome. Like, I can only think of your words as saying these things must be encapsulated or kept on the world within a glass dome.
I haven't said that. Did you not listen to what I did say to you? It's like so many people who come here.
Is
they
that
ask,
not what
I
you've
hadn't finished,
ever
my friend.
said before?
I let you get to the end. Do you mind not talking while I talk? Is that possible?
Well, I didn't want to mischaracterize you. I'm sorry.
You just need to shut up while I talk. Is that possible? I'll try again, maybe? I gave you a very specific answer. Do you remember what the answer I actually gave to you is? Let's forget all of the misrepresentations and word salad that just came out of your mouth. We'll get back to bending of space-time soon. However, I did, prior on this very show, to your complete mischaracterizations and misrepresentations of what I did actually say to you in that very regard. Can you remember what I said to you? Let's see how well you were listening.
You said that the vacuum of space could not keep in a vapor.
No. You specifically made certain assertions in terms of what the world being flat was based on what I said. And then you talked about the word encapsulate, which was one of the words. Again, I'm gonna struggle to have this conversation if when I talk, you begin talking for some reason. That's the second time I've said this to you. Is it possible for me to complete a sentence without you talking while I'm in the middle of a sentence, please, sir? Is that possible? It's getting to the point where I'm going to say it's not possible. So, I'll try again. You asked about what is encapsulating the flat plane. You asked me that question at the start and I gave you a very specific answer. Do you remember what that answer was? Because it didn't involve snow globes and domes. I didn't say those words.
I don't remember you giving me an answer.
Oh, right. Okay. I'll try again. Let's see how quickly I get interrupted. I said, that's a very interesting question. What's the sky? Essentially would be your question. Hope I'm not mischaracterizing you by paraphrasing your question shortly and keeping it concise. What's the sky, Nathan? Given that you know implicitly the world is obviously and observably flat, what does that make the sky? And I said, that's a very, very interesting question. I don't know the answer to that question, but I know what it isn't. And I also know that there are people out there, definitely not me, who do assert what the sky is. And they assert that it's a violation of a law of nature because they've got little videos from there. Now, I'm admittedly taking a little bit of liberty with what I say here. That's not verbatim what I told you, but I made it clear in my answer that I don't know. I'm not some sky god. I don't know what's up there, and I haven't studied it, and I've not really got any ambitions in that regard, and I've not made any assertions in that regard. But there's this whole religion that you are part of that asserts what our sky is. That's not me. I don't need... Excuse me. I don't need to make a claim about what the sky is to take a giant dump on the claim that it's a vacuum. There's no requirement whatsoever for me to suddenly become your source of information for what the sky is. I don't declare to be an expert in the sky. I never have, and have never made any claims about it. It's so surprising that people come here and use words like snow globe and dome when I make it explicitly clear on multiple occasions that I make no claim and don't need to. Now, you've said in words like encapsulate, demonstrating to me, without any claim that you can take apart, that you understand that we need to be encapsulated to have gas pressure. I understand that too, sir. So I'd prefer, given that you can't shut your mouth while I get to every conclusion, I'd prefer that given that you've declared that you believe you live on a marble in a vacuum, so you have a positive assertion by default in this regard, not me. Don't know why you're asking me what the sky is. I didn't put some sign above the show that said information on the sky is found here. But I can definitely tell you that your religion's wrong and we don't have a sky vacuum. Now, given that I've been told that there's a sky vacuum and you're here thinking there's a sky vacuum, I'd like to know why. I'll make it plain for the 5th time. I don't need to make a claim about what the sky is here. There's already a claim that's wrong. Vacuum, wrong. Definitely not outer space, it's fake. Maybe you'd like to address that, given that's the predominant religion that everybody believes in, not what Nathan thinks. Shock horror. So who gives a crap what I think about the sky, given that the predominant religion thinks it's a sky vacuum, including you, sir? Maybe you'd like to address that. Or is what Nathan thinks of the predominant importance here? Nathan's view is definitely more important than an overriding view that the entire Western world holds. No, Nathan's view's much more important, even though I make absolutely no claims and get straw men like you coming along with bloody snow globes that I don't declare and domes that I don't talk about. Yet you've decided what I'm claiming, even though I'm not an arbiter of what the sky is. So maybe you'd like to address the fact that it's not a vacuum.
Well, that's okay. That's reasonable, Nathan. You're absolutely right. I should not have come in and made claims that I can't back up, especially about your beliefs or your knowledge. So I won't do that in the future. I'm sorry about that. Absolutely.
I don't want an apology. Your sky in your religion is a vacuum, and that's a violation of the second law of thermodynamics and gas law. Can you address that, please?
In my belief, I think that the gases that are held to the world in the globe is held here by gravity.
Excellent. Back on track at last. So we had a load of word salad about objects of mass attracting one another. We brushed all that past when you said bending space-time. So maybe you would like to show us some conceptual time. You know what a concept is, right, mate? Some conceptual time. Rhetorical, mate, rhetorical. You know what conceptual is, right, mate? Rhetorical question. So let's see some conceptual time being bent and giving rise to a not actual force called gravity. Can you show us this complete nonsense, please?
Gravity would be a force.
No, that's incorrect. It's just correct, this moron. You didn't listen to the words I just said. No, it's not a force. You are incorrect. How long will this take for a concession?
Is it okay for me to talk without you interrupting?
You're wrong. You are wrong. Is it
correct.
unacceptable for me to let you go on indefinitely when you are incorrect? Nothing I have asserted so far here required interruption, because I'm right. Now you're wrong. Gravity's not a force. Your opening declaration. I will absolutely interrupt your completely incorrect assertion. Now, how long will this take for you, the wrong one in this assertion, to concede your idiocy. Do I need to shout at you because you feel that you're being wronged by me interrupting? No, I'm not wrong. Your incorrect assertion's being addressed quick, sharp.
It's an assertion of acceleration. Gravity.
You said gravity's a force. Don't whistle past my interruption because you felt wronged, victim status suddenly. You're wrong. It's not a force. Let's just get that nipped in the bud. We don't need another 20 minutes going around in circles about what I believe or some crap straw man you've held up about me. Let's just get straight back to this point now, without delay. It's not a force. Comprende?
Okay. It is.
So is that it is? Do I need to interrupt again? Was that it is?
Hold on. Don't interrupt me.
I just need yes or no answers.
As a force, but it's not. You're right in a way, Nathan. You're right. It's not actually a force.
No shit! Yeah, I comprehend this completely. That's why I interrupted you. Maybe you'd like to apologise for taking victim status and constantly interrupting my correction of your idiocy. That's right, dick. Yeah, I interrupted you, now I'm going to start insulting you. You are correcting my interruption and playing victim when you are wrong, aren't you? Not a force, as you declared.
No, it's not, but it is an acceleration.
I couldn't give a crap what you're about to declare. Let's get back to my question before you start spewing. Show me, I'm speaking slower, because it's already been whistled past and an incorrect declaration been made afterwards, that it's a force when it's not. Show me a concept that would be time bending to give rise to a not actual force called gravity. Show me space-time.
Space-time?
Yeah?
Space-time and distance?
Yeah, show it me. Yeah, you're asking for clarity. It's not rhetorical. I'd like to see a concept being bent to give you a not force.
Yeah, that's how GPS
Excuse me, you don't need to interrupt. I know this is heartbreaking for you, the one who believed in this force. We're already pummeling you, and you're just at the point of breaking, aren't you? Where you need to constantly rumpus your embarrassing stupidity being held bare for everyone to see. Yeah, I understand that you need to obfuscate the correct points coming through so you can make incorrect assertions non-stop. Well, no. You sit there and listen to me berate your stupidity. Conceptual mediums being bent won't give you a force to hold gas on a marble in a vacuum.
Right.
So, see, it is definitely triggered Fundy. Yeah, you said gravity holds the gas on Fundy. Yeah?
Okay, I get it, man.
You don't need to interrupt. You're just as bad as Brenda, you moron. I don't need you to tell me the penny's dropped. We've got an audience, you stupid man. You nodding along is just interrupting. I get that this is taking a long time. And I get it. I finally get it. You don't need to interrupt to demonstrate how stupid you are. You just need to shut up while I tell people how stupid you are. Concept spending. Don't nod along as you start to get it. Concepts being bent, giving rise to not actual forces. Am I going to have to kick you out because this is too difficult for you? Clearly too difficult for you to bear. That your belief is wrong.
You did ask me a question, right? You are asking me a question.
I'm telling you, not asking you. Do you not like being told, sir?
I'm not used to it.
Did any of that
I'm
sound
not used to being told.
Yeah, well, shut up. And you, Arwin. I know you're not used to being told. It seems you're used to telling people what's what. Now I'm telling you. And all you need to do is shut your mouth. while I tell you and you struggle to cope with the fact that your belief...
I struggle to cope?
Yeah, this is you struggling to cope. Another interruption.
I don't have to be in your room.
Sod off then.
My God.
Sod off then. I'll tell the audience. The point is that while you're interrupting, you're useful, friend, to demonstrate how much of a struggle it is for fundamentalist religions with their belief in gravity. Yeah, mate, you don't need to interrupt and nod along. You don't need to interrupt me continually. Don't need to interrupt me, mate. Yeah, let's try it without him. So let's see how many people moan because I've got to shut down a line while I try and make the conclusion. This fundy has asserted that gravity's holding gas on, and I've tried about 5 or 6 times to explain to you, the audience, who I'm very sympathetic to, especially with only 5 minutes to go. He's trying to stop me from telling him that his assertion of his belief that bending a concept to give you a not actual force, yeah, that ain't gonna hold gas, mate. Yeah, now I know that you need to interrupt and play victim because this is devastating to your belief that you asserted that gravity holds gas pressure without a container. Now I realise that it's much easier to attack a belief I haven't made any assertions about, or listen to my devastating detailing of your incorrect religion and how it's wrong, but nevertheless, it's painful. So you got to squirm and play victim, or tell me that, yeah, I get it now that you've proven how wrong I am. Yeah, I get it, closing the gates so the audience can't hear. I know how you fundies squirm. I've been doing it for about 2 years. Tell me about how you don't need to be here whilst rumpusing the living crap out of it. You don't have to be here, mate. I don't need you here to point out how wrong your religion is. The fact that you can't tolerate it just shows my audience how painful this is to be a fundy. This is the reason depression is rife in the globehead fundy community. Because of people like you and the way you act. You can't take it.
When you drop a pen on the ground, like why did it go down?
Relative density, buddy.
Relative density?
Sorry, who cares? So what, you're going to whistle past the conclusion because you thought that by spending 5 minutes talking through me asking one question 15 times, that somehow obfuscated the fact that your belief asserted in regards to a force holding gas here doesn't fly, doesn't work. It's useless, and all you can do is obfuscate and interrupt. It's pretty pathetic, pretty sad. But what, now it's time to talk about relative density?
Well, yeah, relative density means that there is something that is up, something that is down.
Who cares? Right? Doesn't hold gas pressure. Just finding what is up and down won't... Excuse me, my friend, it seems that every time I talk, you've figured out that will be an embarrassing thing to let happen. So you're going to interrupt every single time I talk. I get it. Yeah, we already worked that around ages ago. People moan about my mute button. Yeah, but the reality is that I utilise this tool when I must. Because wankers are here, and they hate their religion being taken apart, so they talk constantly. They utilise a tool they have called the fundamentalist religious globehead fundy mute button. That's what they use, and it's what you're using. You don't want me to point out that we started by you asserting that gas pressure with a container was possible because of gravity. Right? Suddenly we've got containment in the form of this force by way of bending conceptual mediums, utilising time, another concept, in a fabric format that you can't show us, that doesn't hold gas because it doesn't give rise to an actual force. You ever going to address this, Fundy?
What I want you to tell me.
Oh, what you want me to tell you. So it's back to Nathan's view is much more important than addressing my zealotry. The fact that I've made an assertion that I believe in gravity holding on gas pressure, and the fact that you've just pummeled it isn't going to get addressed by him. No. It's just going to be what I think. Who cares what I think? I'm just some guy.
Well, somebody raised relative density.
Yeah, you. You. because you wanted to get away from the fact that I pummeled your sky vacuum. The only thing you had to hold the gas here, beyond your sky vacuum that's not taking the gas away from us, yeah, was gravity. And I pointed out that concepts being bent won't hold gases, and now you want to move on to relative density descriptions from us.
No. I think the gas is being held to the Earth via gravity.
Right.
Hello.
Well,
Owen, we're back on the point where he actually wants to get back to it. Yeah, I know you believe that gravity holds the gas. I understand that. I'm not deaf or retarded. You, on the other hand, have had that handed back to you on a plate. Yeah? With a little bill from me. Your humility is the price of this incorrect assertion. And the reason it's incorrect is because the bending of a concept will not give rise to a force even in your own rhetoric. It's a not actual force that this bending of a concept gives you by way of Einsteinian horse crap. It doesn't hold gas. Now, you're never going to address it because it's so painful to have your ass handed to you by a flat earther.
Nathan, what I actually asked before...
I don't care! You made an assertion that gravity holds gas. It doesn't. You can't hold gas with bending a concept. I don't care what you're asking me anymore.
I'm asking you a...
I don't care what you're asking me. You asserted gravity holds gas. It doesn't. I want you to rebut that, or at least acknowledge it in some way, shape, or form.
How is it on a flat Earth that...
How is it that I'm going to now hold up a new straw man because I cannot bear to address that I've got a fundamentalist religious belief based on them telling me the sky is a vacuum, and when that crap gets pummeled by a flat earther, you assert a new belief in gravity, even though that's the bending of a conceptual medium, and that won't give you a force even if you apply the rhetoric that's actually about gravity, a not actual force, definitely holding gas pressure. No, mate, you're just wrong. Maybe try and address that rather than asking for Nathan's opinion like it's somehow important here. Yeah, that's what they turn into. Giggling retards when their religion's taken to pieces. And with that, I'll say if you're watching this on Nathan Oakley premiering stream, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you're watching this live on Nathan Oakley 1980, this is where we bid you farewell. A massive thank you to you all who smashed the super chat. In fact, let's do a couple of shout outs to you who did smash the super chat, as I think you got completely ignored. So shout outs to Logan's Run. Planes don't descend for curvature. Check my site. Logan's Run, thank you very much indeed for the super chat. Winnie the Brew Bear, also massive shout out to you for the ladies of gravity you're pouring. Okay, thank you very much, Winnie the Brew Bear, really appreciate your support. And David Racky Gefford, he says, 4 more hours, all glory to God. Creation proves the creator. Racky life, really appreciate your support. Massive kudos to you for supporting Nathan Oakley 1980. But as I say, if you're watching this on Nathan Oakley 1980, farewell for now, but stay tuned if you're watching on Nathan Oakley premiering stream, as there will be an after show to follow. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!